Okay, so welcome back to my channel. And one topic that I get requests to discuss is about relationships. You know, when we think about being gay, we think about relationships, and we don't have a good image to learn from. I mean, our parents are straight, most of them. Movies, TV, our friends, usually our relatives, everybody's straight. So we don't have some role models or people to help us, think about relationships in a positive way. I kind of think of relationships in the gay community as four. The first one would be friendship. And by friendship, I mean a non-sexual friendship. And I'll probably say this again, but non-sexual friends for gay people and for lesbians are probably the most precious because friends last a long time and they are the most supportive and the most treasured, at least by me. Then we have sex partners. Now, these are people that you might meet for sex. You don't have really a strong emotional connection to them. It's fun to have sex. I certainly have enjoyed it, and I think everyone should enjoy sex in the proper context. Always be loving and caring when you have sex, and safe with condoms. But the people that you would have sex with as purely erotic activity, you have to know that they're having sex with other people too. So you have to be a little mature and understand that this is purely for sex. Then the third category would be what I call friends with benefits. And these are relationships that either are stronger on the friendship side and they include sex, or they're stronger on the sexual side and they include a friendship, which means that in addition to sex, you would go out to a movie with these people, you might go to lunch or dinner, you might go to a party, and these are just, you don't have any kind of a strong emotional connection with them, and you don't share a bank account or anything like that. They're just friends with benefits, and that's very nice. I might say that in my 40 years of being gay, I think I had maybe about 10 people at various times where they were just friends with benefits or just sexual relationships. That would go on for months and sometimes years. I remember a couple went on for like 2 or 3 years. And my being single and just having a good time and connecting with people, it's very nurturing in its own way. So I really do support that. The fourth type would be lovers, which would be a intimate, long-term relationship. Back in the 70s and 80s, sometimes we called these people our roommate, wink, wink, or we'd say, this is my significant other. A lot of people use the word partner. This is my partner. This is my lover. I use the word lover when I mentioned or had a long-term relationship. And since gay and lesbians could get married, then I started using the word husband. And I love that word. I call my husband. When we're together, when we're in front of other people, I love that word. One of the things you have to think about in forming relationships is, what are your needs? What do you want out of it? Sadly, when two people get together, they're on different levels. I remember one roommate situation I had, and it was the only roommate situation, because I had a lot of roommates over all that time before I met my husband. I only had sex with one of them, and he was my roommate. I never called him my lover. I guess you'd call him a friend with benefits, except he lived with me. So that does make it complicated. And, you have to figure these things out sometimes on your own. But I didn't know that he thought of me as his lover, and I thought of him, of course, as my roommate. And it created some conflict. It lasted probably 6 or 7 months, and then he moved out, and he was really angry with me. So when it comes to roommates, I never had sex with a roommate except that one time, that one person. And when I had friends, there's nothing sexual about friends. I always kept those two kind of separate. And when we talk about lovers or husbands, I'll use the word lovers, it's important to consider what you have in common. People could have different interests, like my husband and I. He's more into musicals, and I guess I committed the cardinal sin in the gay community because I'm not into musicals. So if he wants to go to a musical, he goes with somebody else or by himself. I might go, but grudgingly, to be sure. But interests might include, do you watch movies, the types of movies, your personalities, how do those match? Sometimes opposites attract, that's true. And like things like money. Money is probably the number one area. I would say money and monogamy, or the lack of it, are the two areas that can really screw up a relationship. Doug and I we're right in sync, with so many core values. We like to vacation to the same places. We like to think of our investments in the same way. Our home life is very compatible. We, enjoy each other's company so much. And it's really neat that your lover, your best friend, and your spouse is the very same person. That's very precious. So I wanted to talk also about other values that come in. Now, in a lover relationship, sometimes it's one-sided, and I find that awful. It's not for me to judge anybody. It might work in some cases, but I know of couples where one guy goes out and has sex with other people, and the other one is monogamous. Sometimes a person who has sex with other people does it in secret, which is called cheating, or sometimes he does it with the other person's knowledge, which is just that he's open and the other one is monogamous. That's very difficult to deal with, and a lot of people can't. Cheating is an element of honesty or dishonesty, and just like with friends, close friends, family, I think honesty is like the most important value you can bring to a relationship, because without it, I don't think anything works. I really don't. And I learned, I went to counselors a lot. I did that because I like psychology. It's one of my favorite subjects. So it's not like I was having some tremendous issues or problems or misunderstandings. I always thought that I could be a better person, a better husband, a better friend. And, so I use psychologists periodically. Maybe I'd see them once or twice a year for a period of time. And even Doug and I went through couple counseling once or twice. And it's just to sort of like hone things in to make sure that we're communicating. And what we learn is just always communicate. If you feel something inside, don't suppress it. Talk about it. You can't expect the other person to fix it or to help you on the issue, but talking about it is really important in a stable relationship. There's a couple other issues in relationships. One is if you are out to your family and friends, or if you're not. I lived the first, say, 25 years of my life being, either closeted or semi-closeted. And in a relationship, when you have a husband or with a woman, you have a wife, you kind of want to share with other people how important that person is to you, and to introduce them to your family or your friend. Oh, this is my roommate, or this is my friend. It's not the same thing as saying this is my spouse. This is my husband or wife. That's really important. And another aspect is how do you talk about your relationship with your family? You'll feel more comfortable, for sure, with your gay friends, right? When you go to a party, everybody knows. You usually come out to your gay friends, of course, but your family is a different issue. I came out because first of all, I wanted people to know that when I had a husband, that person was my spouse and the most important person in my life, period. And there's no other way to do it. I can't introduce them as, my friend, my roommate. They wouldn't know what that meant. Let me share with you some of my experience in relationships. They were not all good for me or for the other person. I had 2 short, long-term relationships. They lasted somewhere about 1.5 years. And the first one walked out on me 3 times. He walked out once, then he wanted to come back, then he walked out again, then he wanted to come back. Then he walked out a 3rd time, and I said, no, I'm done. And I don't criticize him or blame him. This was sort of our first thing that we were getting into. I was kind of his first lover, and he was my first lover. So, and there's nobody to teach us the exact way to do all these things. So I don't have any bad feelings about that first lover. The second one, boy, oh boy, did I love him a lot. And he was very insecure. I didn't understand it. I didn't know it at the time. But he's very needy. Big red flag. But, love is blind. I just fell for him, hook, line, and sinker, as they say. And he walked out on me 7 times. And 6 times I took him back. And it was just so devastating to me, the way he manipulated me, used me to try to build up his self-image. It was a mess, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And after we finally split up, I stayed single for a good long time, at least 12 years. And I just had, friends, some sexual relationships, until I met Doug. And I'm going to talk about my husband, Doug, in another video. But boy, oh boy, I will say this. Did I luck out? Wait till you meet him. But so in general, relationships can have a lot of characteristics. They can be complicated. You just keep your eyes open and know what you're doing. Be honest. If something's not at a high level of a love relationship, don't pretend that it is. If something's a purely sexual relationship, that's okay. Have a good time. But don't pretend that it's something more than it is. So with that, I thank you for watching this video.